Hello, AP Lang students. We are going to discuss the Crucible Modern Day Connection project that I'm assigning to you guys. This is our final project to wrap up the Crucible. So you're going to create a slide presentation detailing modern day connections that you made to the play. There are 2 connections required, and each connection should get its own slide. So in theory, with the works cited page that we're going to talk about in a second, this slide presentation may only be 3 slides in length. However, if one of your connections is proving difficult to fit onto one slide, don't force it, just make it 2 slides. So maybe 2 slides for the first connection, 2 slides for the second connection, and then your 5th slide is your works cited page. Okay, so for each connection, you need to explain the major theme, symbol, or character that you're making the connection to. So maybe you explain a little bit about a theme. The theme of hysteria is found, or the topic of hysteria comes up, and the theme seems to be, and then that's where you would explain the statement of theme. And remember, we have that Padlet discussion, which gives you some resources there. Or the symbol of the golden candlesticks symbolizes blah, blah, blah in the Crucible. So that's what you would put. You're explaining the element from the play. And then you explain your then you explain your connection. This is where you focus on the example from today's society, from modern day society. This requires 6 sentences, this particular section. And by the way, this explanation of the major theme or symbol or character from the story is 2 to 3 sentences. You must source your modern day connection, though, by each modern day connection by finding an article about it, then adding it to your works cited page. So let's say, for example, you pick the golden candlesticks, you explain what that is, and then your connection is maybe about something dealing with materialism and greed, and maybe you found a modern day example. Maybe you can talk about, for example, something from the Great Recession and sort of the greed that ran things there, talk a little bit about what happened there. And then your last or your second to last requirement then is to explain the connection between that element from the play and your connection. So element from the play, the connection, the modern day example, how they're related, and then the last element is pick one visual per connection and provide a 1 to 2 sentence caption to explain how this visual relates to either, something from the play, something from the connection, really up to you. And then your last slide should be the works cited page. Now, let me show you a very brief example here. This is more just an example of how you can templates of how you can do this. So let's say your first connection is here. My first connection involves a scene where it started with that. And then this second part, this would be, so this is A right here, right? B, explain the connection. That would be here. This reminds me of, and this is where you would explain your connection. Be specific. And then let's say you couldn't fit that one connection on one slide. Well, I made a second slide, connection 1 continued. This can be related to the play because, and this would be C, explanation of how the element from the play and the connection are related. And then, as you can see here, you need a visual, so I just put a little placeholder there. Okay, and then you would go to connection 2, and maybe let's say this one you could fit on one slide. I mean, again, if you really feel like it's probably better to stretch out each connection onto 2 slides. That way you don't have to make the font super small and it's really difficult to read. So just something to keep in mind. And then, of course, you have your works cited page. Please use MLA format. You should know how to do this at this point. Okay, there's a rubric down here that explains how I'm going to grade everything. So as far as working on the project, you can work either individually or with one partner. Okay, if you want to work as a group of 3, and this is the max group that I'll allow of 3. But if you're going to do that, you have to add a 3rd connection. Okay, and slide or 2 for that 3rd connection. Okay, if you work with a partner, you still only need the 2 connections. Obviously, if you work individually, you need the 2 connections as well. Okay, so those are the requirements. I will answer any questions you have when we have our Zoom session, and I'll talk to you guys soon.